Electric vehicles, commonly known as EVs, is no stranger to the Caribbean, as territories look for ways to move away from fossil fuel to using more renewable energy. Joining the evolution is the slogan used to describe the transition from combustion engines to electric vehicles. In the region, businesses more so than private owners are currently the users of EVs. 3 of these businesses spoke about their reasons for joining the evolution and the benefits so far.
So the reason why we went electric vehicle in the first instance, and we run a fleet of 4 cars right now, as we come up to replace cars, we're replacing with electric vehicles. So our plan is to go 100% EV as soon as we possibly can. And the reason for it is the numbers are compelling. We run 3 cars from a charging point at our factory in Lower Estate and 1 car from my home up in Port St Charles. Last month's bill for our factory charging unit, where there's 3 cars doing about 1,500 to 2,000 kilometres each, was, guess, any idea? 3 cars doing about 5,000 kilometres. Can you imagine what our bill was? No guesses? $202 Bayesian, which is $101 real dollars. Now, you know, I'm a Scotsman, so when I see those sort of numbers, I get excited.
When the opportunity came here, we jumped at it first and foremost because we saw not just the benefit, but also a commitment that we took as a company back in 2007 to reduce our emission rate by 30% by 2020. The electric vehicle is the way to go. When we look at the diverse vehicle that we have in our fleet, the electric vehicle has been the one that has been increasing year on year since 2007. Where we started off with almost 150, now we have over 400. So it has made a significant impact for us, and it is the way to go for us. And we're committed to getting this done.
We've seen dramatically positive results. We save about 60% on fuel. We've taken to the highest point in Grenada, really, they call it 1910 Granitan. Took us about, for every mile, it was about 1.5 miles going up, but then we regenerated 2 miles coming down for every mile. It was quite cool. For example, you would see it going down, but then on the way back, we regenerated 18 miles on the way back down. Something quite astonishing for a lot of people who've never seen a car regenerate mileage. And again, we've seen savings across the board. I don't think Grenada was ready. A lot of the people that we've driven, we've taken the media in the car, we've taken a lot of personnel who didn't think it could fight up those hills. And should I say, it hasn't even been a fight.
But it's not just businesses that have access to these vehicles and reaped the benefits. Some private owners also spoke about their experience with the cars.
So you're here with your electric vehicle. I guess it's a Leaf. Is it a Leaf?
It is a Leaf.
Tell me how you decided to buy it and what it used to drive.
Well, I had a typical diesel pickup, I guess is what you would call a double cab pickup. I don't know, I just saw them on the road and decided to be part of the future, I guess.
So it was an environmental decision?
Pretty much, yeah, environmental. And on driving them, I found they were very, very comfortable to drive as well. So I would say that it's environmental for sure, and also I genuinely like the comfort of the vehicle.
And what is it like now that you charge up and you don't go to a gas station? Tell us about that transition.
Yeah, the gas station is only the mini mart now. So it's nice. It's great. You just charge at home, and it's like charging a cell phone. You gotta keep it charged, and it'll work. It's great.
Do people stop you on the street and be like, "But boss man, what's this you're driving here?"
Yeah, people are very interested in the vehicle, for sure, for sure. They ask, "Man, this car look very sick. Was this I can't hear it coming." You know, those kind of things, you know.
Do you ever have any trouble with that? The fact that it's so quiet?
No, I never had that. I never had any problem. No, no, not at all.
Just keeping the noise pollution down for the country.
Yeah, correct. No noise. No noise and no fumes. It's all good.
Because it made me into a much more, like a better driver, I would say. It makes me to be more aware of, because I think according to my boyfriend, I used to drive like really crazy, always pressing on the gas and like not really good in conserving energy or conserving gas. But because it's an electric, and I have to think about, you know, my charge and how long it's gonna last me, and like, you know, the distance I'm going. So I'm always thinking, and it made me so aware. Like before I had an electric car, I didn't know how far was the distance to get to the supermarket and home is how many kilometers, you know. But now I pretty much know, and I know how many I'll need to get there and back. So it's just a great car, and it just enhanced my life a whole lot. So I have no issues with it, and I absolutely love it.
Well, electric cars are a real surprise. When you first drive them, you think, this is like, I can't believe it. They just go so well. They're so quiet, they're so modern, they're so easy. And when you go back to a gas car, it's like going back in the Stone Age. It really is. Remember the old Nokia telephone compared to today's smartphone? It's almost like that. And I've got both. I've got electric and I've got gas. And knocking around every day, just general life, electric's much better.
Mega Power is the company responsible for EVs in some Caribbean territories. Barbados is Mega Power's home and first major project. From nothing on the island, Mega Power has managed the importation of electric vehicles and created the entire island-wide charging network. To date, Barbados has about 120 EVs on the roads and rising. However, the company's managing director, Johanna Edgehill, highlighted what she says is the main challenge facing the transition towards using EVs in the region.
One of the big frustrations for us in starting the business was on the financing side. That has changed here, and that could be looked at as a model elsewhere. About 75% of all the vehicles in Barbados are financed, either hire purchase or a lease. But you know, in the first 6 months, none of the traditional financing companies, wave if you're here, were, thank you, you do now, but none were prepared because of the unknown, really. And so that links then to education being a really big part of this. And kind of also linked to that with the capacity building. We have in Barbados trained mechanics to service, to repair the vehicles, and that needs to be taken into account for the other countries as they develop policy, as they develop incentives for electric vehicle uptake.
One of the major concerns among stakeholders is the range or how far the cars can go. St. Lucia spoke about their testing on the island and how electric mobility could be applicable there.
While doing the study, we just did this for illustrative purposes. We looked at the Nissan Leaf, and we used a range of 84 miles, which is actually lower than the EPA range for the Leaf. In a B line, just straight line, the blue circles represents that 84-mile range, and St. Lucia, this is to scale. This is St. Lucia in that circle. And if you have a driver like me who's aggressive, uses his AC, got a lot of curvy roads, then we could look at the red circle as the potential range under those driving conditions. And still, you can drive from one end of the island to another on one charge, no problem. So there is no range issue. We've heard a lot about that already as well. And also, we've heard as well that the equivalent ICE vehicle, internal combustion engine vehicle, is more expensive to drive.
Experts say the Caribbean may be the best place in the world for the mass adoption of EVs, especially in those nations that are small in size, have a relatively flat terrain, an abundance of solar energy, and are reliant on imported petroleum products.